Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Dazzling Dave, and this is going to be my Premier League match preview. Wolverhampton Wanderers, a Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff, can you believe it, at Molineux. All the thoughts, team news, stats, facts and that prediction coming up. Please smash the like button, and if you're new around here, please consider subscribing and hit the bell, because if you hit the bell, you'll always be first to be notified of any future uploads. So without any further ado, let's look at the game. So let's kick off with the head-to-head. Newcastle versus Wolves. Wolves have actually failed to win any of their last 5 home league matches against Newcastle, and in the last 9 games that they've played, 6 of those games have been drawn. On to some Wolves stats and facts. Wolves actually, if we lose this game, could lose 3 consecutive league games for the first time this season. That will be the longest run of Nuno's reign, so hopefully that won't happen. Wolves have kept only 2 clean sheets in the last 10 league fixtures at Molineux in the 2019-2020 season, and Nuno have conceded the first goal in an unrivalled 14 games this season, including the last 5 in a row. It has been a bit of a problem for Wolves actually. We have come back a lot, but we would be helpful to score first, because when we do score first, we don't really end up losing the game. None of Wolves' last 49 Premier League goals have been scored by an Englishman, excluding own goals, and Raul Jimenez is just one goal short of equaling Stephen Fletcher's club record of 22 Premier League goals. And then on to João Moutinho. He has provided 5 Premier League assists since the start of November, a tally that's only bettered by Liverpool's Trent Alexander-Arnold. So let's look at Newcastle, some stats and facts surrounding them. Newcastle actually could lose 4 consecutive league games for the first time since May 2018. However, when we're talking about the team, which I'll come on to in a bit, they have had a lot of injuries. The Magpies have actually led for just 342 minutes in their Premier League this season. Only Wolves and Crystal Palace have spent less time in front. Newcastle are also the only club not to have been awarded or conceded a Premier League penalty this season, and Newcastle need just 1 more goal to reach 500 away goals in the Premier League, and that would be the 9th team to actually achieve that mark, and they can wait an extra game for that as far as I'm concerned. Andy Carroll, who obviously is now back at Newcastle, has failed to score in 27 Premier League appearances, but he has provided assists for 4 of Newcastle's last 6 league goals. So again, I just want a clean sheet, I think. So on to the team news. We all know that Patrick Cutrone, it's, as I talked about again in my transfer blog recently, and check that out, I'll put it up there for you, and also put it on the end screen so you can watch some information on that. But Patrick Cutrone has now left Molineux and joined Fiorentina in Italy. Very widely reported he was unhappy with the lack of game times, hadn't really settled in England. He did love the pizza and the pasta. He didn't get that many changes, and I'll talk about that on the transfer, so I won't go much more into that. But he's left initially on an 18-month loan, and I think the fee is going to be something like 15.5 million. So it will end up being a slight loss for Wolves on what they bought for him. It didn't work out. Sometimes it doesn't work out for players. In terms of injuries for Wolves, we know that Jota, he's going to be out again for this one. This dead leg looks a little bit more serious than we initially thought. He's going to have a scan. Hopefully it's not too serious. He's going to be out for a long period of time, but he will be missing this particular game, and you'd imagine he'll also be missing the game in midweek, the replay against United. On some positive news, Willy Bolly is back on the grass, kicking a ball. He's not 100% integrated in full training, and they have to bring him back obviously carefully, but he is back in training. But again, I don't really expect that we're going to see Bolly probably starting until after that mid-season break that the Premier League are introducing in 2 or 3 weeks' time. I think that's probably when we're more likely to see him come back. And then also positive news, Morgan Gibbs-White has been out with a back injury for a little while. He's now back, fully integrated in the squad, and is available for selection. It does give us another option. We know that Jesus Vallejo, he's still currently training with Wolves, but it looks like that's moved. Real Madrid looking for another club for him. So yeah, we were getting a bit tight on numbers, and Nuno's talked again at the press conference about confident they're bringing people in. It's got to be the right people. There's been players that Wolves are linked with, but nothing really firm. I do talk about that, as I say again, in my transfer update, so make sure you check that out at the end of this video. In terms of Newcastle, they've had loads and loads of injuries recently, and that's coincided with not a great run. They have got a few players coming back available for selection for this one, so that will help them. How up to match sharpness they are is another one, and they've got a few more coming back, and some again still not available for selection. Wolves will go into this game as favourites, you would think. In terms of the team selection, you know, it's pretty much going to be Patricio, Cody. You think Dendoncker and Saiz again are going to start for this one at the back. Sorry, Dad, I don't think Bennett's going to get the start. The middle's going to be Moutinho and Neves. Then you're going to see Johnny Arte, Doherty, Jimenez, who hopefully will look a bit fresher because Wolves actually, for the first time in a while, we've had a proper decent break and they needed it. Adama Traore, and then you think Pedro Neto, and then it's a matter of who he can get striker-wise on the bench, because as I say, Cotroni's gone. Ashley Seal, possibly you could see him on the bench again for this one. Did play in the FA Cup game, but obviously we do have a slight problem in the striker department at the moment. I know it's something that Wolves are prioritising to bring in. In terms of score prediction, I'm going to go with a shutout for this one for Wolves, and hopefully we're going to win the game 2 or 3-0. If I have to pick one, I'll go with a 2 and hope for the 3. Leave your thoughts below on what you think the team will be, any questions that you'd like to ask me at the moment, and also don't forget to leave your score prediction and who's going to be the first goal scorer. First goal scorer for me, I'm going to go Pedro Neto. Boom. Until the next one, I'm Dazzling Dave. Always Wolves.